What's up, dude?
Not too much, man. Been very busy, to say the least.
Are
Yourself?
you? Yeah, me too, man. Lots of shoots coming up. Are you remote?
It's awesome. Yeah, it's hands down the best thing that you could ever do. But
Yeah.
what are the shoots for? Is that with your marketing business with your dad?
Yeah, man. We got lots of commercials coming up, and then I do a lot of the shooting for social.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With social medias.
Like the platforms. I've been
Mhm.
doing a lot of TikTok recently. Been getting really involved in TikTok. Mostly we do Facebook and like I'll place the media, but then it's also knowing where to place it. And like with all the Apple updates and stuff, you always have to like it's like a moving target, you know?
Mhm.
But like TikTok's pretty cool. It's definitely like the most viral. You can reach so many people on it, but it's just like a different algorithm than Facebook and Instagram and stuff.
Interesting.
Uh-huh. That's
That's
kind
something.
of why I wanted to start this podcast in general was to get because you gotta like kind of pick a niche, and my niche that I'd be most passionate about is like the fitness industry, but more importantly, like not so much the sacrifice of you got to pick fitness or lifestyle. Like for
Yeah.
you example, like I think you and me do a pretty good job of like balancing the two because it's like you have one of the fitness people saying don't drink, don't go to parties, don't do that, and that makes no one want to even try fitness or
Yeah.
try to get healthy, you know. And then you start realizing you can do both and learning ways you can do both, like
Yeah.
tequila sodas and lime. Those
Yeah.
things are such a
Race
cheat.
waters make the world go round. Race waters
Yeah.
go round.
Or I used
No,
to
I mean,
carry around a Mio, you know?
yeah, I think that's a really good point that you bring up, though, and that's actually one thing that's kind of kept me from like fully diving into like the fitness industry is like it's became so gate kept now. Like there's so much gatekeeping with like fitness influencers that like it's like a really annoying crowd at times. And
What do you mean
like
gatekeeping?
as in like no you have to do this or you have to act this way, you have to portray yourself in this manner, and like they just like they put on the highlight reel as if they're not normal people, and it's like
Yeah.
it sets this standard for people that aren't physically like they don't go to the gym often, or they don't know how to balance their nutrition, and it sets this example that's just not realistic, and then people just are timid to go to the gym. And I've
Yeah.
always been an advocate of like, be real, be transparent, and be welcoming to people that aren't comfortable with going to the gym. That's the point of being a fitness influencer. It's not, and I'm not sure if the more you get involved in fitness TikTok as well, the more you're going to see it. Of like,
Yeah.
you got these kids that are pumping themselves to the gills with like steroids, and then they're going on social media going, oh, well, if you eat this low calorie diet, it's going to burn belly fat. And I sit there and I'm like, that is so corny, man, because you're not natural, or like like you're setting this example that's not actually real. And that's what I mean by gatekeeping. It's like they gatekeep the real mentality that actually exists with being like you're a person. Like just because you're a fitness influencer doesn't mean you're not a person. And that's what I noticed changed with like in the fitness industry. And like I think that's always been a thing. It's just stop. Now you have a like an audience that like everybody can see what's going on. Like, I mean, you go back to like the keto crazes that happened 10-15 years ago, or those cookie cutter diets. I mean, that's the same thing. It's just slightly altered to what's the new fad. And I think the new fad now is just that mentality that I don't know. I just think that TikTok crowd with fitness is a very toxic one. I don't
Hmm.
think it reflects like the true health and wellness as well. You know, like one of the prime examples I always think of is it's like, oh, put the treadmill at 3.5 speed and 12 incline for 30 minutes, and you're just going to shred body fat. And it's like, no, it's just calories in, calories out. But you guys are overcomplicating it to like just to sell yourself, you know, to get views. And I just,
Yeah.
that's the thing to me that really got like toxic. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like they overcomplicate it and then they end up not knowing what they're talking about. And that's like I always love like the real TikTok like fitness guys that are like they'll stitch those and be like, yeah, no, that's bullshit. Like
Yeah.
it's not about you know what your cardio is or you know what's healthy food. Like if you deem something healthy food, like that doesn't make any rational sense. There's no such thing as sure there's some foods that are higher in trans fats or saturated fats and high in cholesterol, but that's not determined as a healthy food. Like that's when the people, you know, like I'm also a big advocate of like I don't believe in cheat meals. I think that's like a really dumb mentality. In my
Yeah.
I like to just call it like you should just be eating well. Like, but in our society, you know, we've shifted to this like mentality that like, you know, going to, you know, going out and eating bad frequently is just a norm. And it's like, well, if you just shift to eating well 80% of the time, you focus on calories in, calories out. Like, you don't need to be a macro god, like somebody who's really dialing in their physique. You're
Yeah.
gonna,
I've never counted that stuff, even for
yeah,
my shows. I never did.
yeah. And that's what I'm saying about like the whole like gatekeeping. They just overcomplicate things so then that way that like, I
Seems
don't know.
unachievable.
Exactly. And it's like, isn't that the opposite of being a fitness influencer? You're
Yeah.
supposed to be getting people excited to go to the gym and teaching them something and making it simple. Like that's like some of like the best coaches that I've worked with throughout the years. Like, cause I've worked with people as well. Cause I'm also, you know, the advocate of you might know a lot, but you don't know everything. And if you
Hmm.
think you do, like that's a very detrimental mindset. And like some of the like best ones I've worked with have always just been like, hey, let's just simplify this. You know, like what do you know, whatever you enjoy eating, eat that. However many times, eat that many times. Let's not make this harder than it is. And I mean, that's how I've always done my coaching as well when I work with people is I'm like, let's not make this something that it's not. All it is just simply altering some of the tendencies in your lifestyle to make you healthier. You don't need to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger, or you don't need to be the next, you know, men's health uh sexiest man of the year. Like, nah, dude, you're just trying to get in a little better shape, feel a little better, still enjoy your life. And what's gonna happen? You're gonna look a little better, which is great.
Yeah. Like one of my friend's girlfriends, she was like, I want to go to the gym, Ronnie, but I never know what to do. And I'm always scared everyone's watching. And I'm like, it's so funny because I feel like everyone thinks they're being watched to where no one is watching anyone. And then let alone I was just telling her, just go and like fuck around for a little bit, like stretch or walk on the treadmill. Like people are like three three sets by 10 of this, and it makes people like hate going. And it's like this big
Yeah,
commitment to go. And I'm like, just it's like you ever read Atomic Habits or heard of that? It's
very
like a
good.
pretty famous book. It talks about how just going like to the gym or anything, like just doing it, like people would walk to the gym, not even go in, and then just walk home just to get into a routine of constantly doing it. Like,
Yeah,
isn't it like 3 weeks it takes to build a habit or
yeah,
something like that? But
yeah,
interesting because it is like people make it this huge. If I'm going to the gym, I have to be in 100% energy and I have to be feeling 100% and feeling confident in the way I look in the mirror. And then you end up going once every 2 weeks because of that mentality instead of constantly just like I don't feel like going every day at all, but it's those days that really matter the most when you don't feel like going. Even if you just like the other day, I just went and just messed around for a half hour. It wasn't even like I got a solid workout in, but it was like better than nothing, you
yeah.
know?
Go in. Yeah. And I think that's also, you know, a really big thing is it's just like anything in life. It's like a tier system, right? Like if you don't know what you're doing, that's okay, but still go. That's like tier one. Then tier two is like, okay, I actually kind of know what I'm doing. Like I know how to do these exercises. let me just start planning, right? And then tier 3 is where it starts getting more serious. And then tier 4 is where you're maybe starting to get like into the bodybuilding realm, where like then that's maybe where you start tracking really diligently. It's like,
Mhm.
but not everyone needs to be like that. And I
Yeah.
think that's the big discrepancy of, even back to what I was just kind of going on that tangent about, is like,
Yeah.
that's the big discrepancy that people don't understand. Is it's like they see this stuff on, these health and wellness influencers, and they think like, oh, like that's how I have to be in order to be healthy. And it's like, no, that's literally not true. Or it's like, oh, I have to train like a bodybuilder to be healthy. And it's like, no. Like I've altered my training over the last decade so many times, it's ridiculous. I've went from being 160 pounds because I was only running back in like high school to like college when I was playing lacrosse, like on top of obviously being a college athlete, I was training extremely hard like a bodybuilder, like high volume, hypertrophy, not going for any strength focused things because that's what we did in lacrosse. Then I got up to like 185 of like mostly just muscle. And then now I'm like, I got back down to like 170 because I started getting more distance running inclined. And that's basically where I sit at now. And it's like,
Yeah.
I
What are
can,
you running a lot nowadays, aren't you?
yeah, that's like one of
Yeah.
the,
I saw
the
your
few.
post. It was like 7 minute mile, 4 miles or something.
Yeah, that was
Training for anything?
yeah, I'm training for a marathon. I want to do a Spartan race in August. The Spartan race I want to do, I think, is a 15K, which would be 13 miles, if I'm not
Damn.
mistaken. Let me check.
What's the farthest you've gone?
Half marathon.
Damn.
Wait, no, so it'll be a 21K. Yeah, 21K is 13 miles.
So you
Um,
lose muscle running that much?
yes, and yes and no,
Hmm.
because oddly enough, I actually bulked for like the first time ever in my life because I used to be so like self-conscious about putting on like weight
Yeah.
that like just being the fat kid that I was back in like middle school, I just never was comfortable with seeing the scale go up. But I finally like went through like a clean bulk, still had like the six pack and everything, even though I went all the way up to 180 again. And like now I've been cutting back down, which I mean, this is easily the leanest I've looked at like the weight that I am, which is really exciting. But like I did that while running this much. So
Uh,
like, yes, you do lose muscle if you don't eat the right way.
right.
But I was also eating probably over the typical amount of protein that I would eat, which I usually like to do the amount of which is my body weight. But this time I kind of went up to like 210 grams a day as opposed to like 170. So like I was eating more protein in
How many meals
increasing.
is that?
I don't eat a lot throughout the day. I eat like
Oh,
twice.
okay.
So
They're big meals.
just like fat ass meals, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, during that time though, like during like I'd say at the end of June last year, so probably June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That was when I was eating probably 3 to 4 meals a day and splitting them up where I'd actually eat at breakfast because I've also been like an advocate of fasting for like the last like 6 years.
Dude, that
I
was my
changed
next
that.
question.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying that was gonna be like my next point of question. Like, you ever done fasting or anything?
Oh yeah, I'm a big advocate for it.
What's the
I used to
longest
be
you've been?
I think 24 or 30 hours. So nothing crazy.
Some
But
people
that was
do
also,
crazy long times.
yeah, I know
Days.
some people, yeah, I know some people that do like days. And that to me is like, whoa. But
Yeah. Like
again,
I,
different
I
strokes
talked to
for
this
different folks.
I talked to this one guy in the sauna saying he did it for 4 days. I was like, I didn't even believe him because I was like, is that a real thing? People can go that long without eating, just water?
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think by day 4, your kidneys get cleaned out, if I'm not mistaken. So
Damn.
post this, whoever watches this or listens to this, do not quote me on that. But I'm
Yeah,
almost
we are not experts.
not an expert here. But I remember talking to someone that was doing like really long fasts, and like your like kidneys will get clean, or no, your colon will also get, I think it's your colon will get cleaned out.
That's
And
unbelievable.
yeah, but I mean, it's like, obviously you don't have anything cycling through there anymore. Your colon's working 24/7 if you're eating constantly. But I also got into fasting, just, brief synapse of it is one is just shrinking that calorie window. That's one thing I teach to anyone that I've ever worked with over the last, 5 years is
What's that?
just shrinking the calorie window of, if you are trying to lose weight, stop eating from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to sleep. That's going to immediately put the calorie in, calorie out thing. That's going to immediately make less calories come in. That's all you have to do. And that's immediately gonna help you out. Is that gonna be the end all fix all? No, obviously. But like if you're eating from the minute you get up, because in our society it's trained and ingrained in us to eat breakfast. I think breakfast is terrible for you, but that's just me. Like reason I say that is it spikes your insulin the minute you wake up. And then, what happens when your insulin gets spiked? That's why people get groggy and get tired, is because their insulin gets spiked and then their body goes into a phase of ultimately driving that back down. And that's just wasting unnecessary energy. It's like if you just wait a little bit, like, are you hungry? Are you? If you are, eat. If you're not, don't. That's how I also look at it. Like that idea of like 3 meals a day, like breakfast, lunch, dinner. I just think that's really backwards. It's like eat when you're hungry. Do you think people ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 400, 500 years ago? Like, no, they ate when they were hungry or they ate when they had food.
Maybe not even
It's
that
like,
long.
yeah, exactly.
150.
But I've never been a big proponent of like extended fasting. So I would like fast from like, I stop eating, let's just say at like 8:39, and then I won't eat the next day until like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So
Okay.
it's nothing crazy. It's just
When
like
do you wake up?
some days like 6:30, some days 7:30.
So you're going like 6, 7 hours before you eat again?
Yeah.
Like
Like
just awake?
yeah. So it ends up being like 16 hours,
Okay.
16-hour fasts, give or
Yeah, yeah,
take.
yeah. Yeah, with sleep too. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I do that on the weekends. I try to. And
Yeah.
then during the week, it's like I wake up, let's say 5:45. I'll eat breakfast around like I just ate, so like 9. But I totally think that's interesting because like a lot of people they wake up and like I'll talk to them. Some people train in the morning and they'll be like, I wake up, eat, go to the gym. And I'm like, because it's like some people like me, I just go. I don't eat
Yeah.
it.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
In the mornings, I've kind of had to change things up just because now I'm living in Florida. Like, I actually don't like running in the morning, like at all. I hate it.
Hmm.
I like lifting in the morning because it's like I can wake myself up then. Like if I just like wake up and then I'm stretching, I feel like I'm kind of like half-assing the stretching, and then I start running and I'm like, ooh, I'm tight. Like this doesn't feel good. But like in the afternoons when I'm running, I'm like, this is great. But when it's like 93 with humidity down here at like 5, whenever I like will go on my runs, that's awful. Like let me tell you, awful. Like the humidity run like training down here
Oh
is
yeah.
crazy bad.
I didn't even think
I'm
about
excited to go back up to Ohio and visit and go on a run. I want to see how long I can go
that.
like without getting tired. Because now I can crank down here like I can probably crank a half marathon down here easy. Well,
Wow.
actually, not probably. I know I can. It will be easy per se. No, but I mean, I can definitely do that really easily, like to a degree. I think I could probably kick it up to 15, 16 in Ohio at like a good pace. I mean, I could definitely run a marathon right now, but it just wouldn't be at a pace I'd want to run it at. That's
What
also
made
why
you go to Florida?
last June, the end of last June, June 22nd.
What
So
made you move?
that's a really kind of complex question
Oh.
because there's a lot of factors that built into it. One being I wanted to go to Tampa University to play lacrosse here, but it was just too expensive. Like it was like $35,000 or close to 40 the first year. The other dynamic was when I was injured, like with my neck injury my senior year, when I was sitting on the sidelines, I just remember there's just like this like awful moment. I'm like sitting there on the sidelines, cold as all get out, like 3 jackets on, and I'm like shivering. And I go, I'm done. And like all my friends that are standing next to me are like, what? And I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, I can't live in this, man. I can't do this anymore. Like this is literally miserable. And they're like, well, yeah, you're just standing on the sidelines in the cold watching the cross. And I go, yeah, but like this is terrible. I'm like 6 months out of the year, you can't be happy. Like you're telling me you enjoy this. If you snowboard, good for you. Like, maybe you like that stuff. Maybe you like the cold. That for me though, I was miserable. And like seasonal
Yeah.
depression hit me hard because all the things I like doing are outside. Like I like running, I like hiking, like I like walking my dog, I like running my dog. Like that's all the stuff I like doing. That's eliminating a lot of the things besides lifting that
Would
like
you like as a kid, did you play outside a lot?
yeah, all the time.
That's how I was. Yeah. I didn't play much video games. I was definitely more oriented to be outside.
Yeah. And
Like,
I think when I was younger though, I didn't mind the cold.
hmm
But I guess as I got older, the old achy bones started creeping in.
yeah, it's a
Like this is
thing. Isn't that weird?
yeah. I don't know. I think it's like I don't know. Maybe the being outside so much as a kid in the sun in the cold just kind of wore me out before I knew
Yeah.
it was like uh yeah, I'm good on all this.
Do you like it? You think you'll stay in Florida?
Yeah, I'll definitely be down here at least for the foreseeable future. I want to get some real estate down here, hopefully sooner than later, because the market in Tampa is ridiculously skyrocketing.
Isn't
If
it
I'm
the
not
top
mistaken,
one in America?
I think it's the fastest increasing rent wise in the U.S. now. It was Austin,
Was it?
yeah. Rent. I mean, it's not the highest rent though. The highest rent is Tampa's not even close, but it is the fastest increasing in regards to cost of real estate. So I guess like it's probably due to the fact that
All those big companies went to Austin, like Tesla and Google and Apple,
yeah,
Facebook, maybe
it
another.
makes sense though. I mean,
Hmm.
uh, less taxes. But that's why a lot of companies are also moving over here to Florida area because taxes.
Phew. That's crazy how changing it is.
Yeah, I mean that's one other thing, like just like low key about living down here that was great is um, there's no income tax. So like I moved down here and I made like I think it's like 8 to 10% more just by changing my address and like being
Damn.
like 100% commission based. Like that's great. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Now I'm not getting the hand dipped into my pocket every single time I'm like
Yeah.
getting a commission check, which is nice. But I don't know. I just think Florida, it's like here's like the funniest way I describe it is it's so nice that like sometimes it's like you don't want to do something, right? Like you just want to have a chill day, but you're obligated not to.
Huh.
Like
Yeah.
if I wanted to not do anything today, I look outside and I go, well, I have to go outside.
Yeah.
Literally clear skies, sunny, like but
Gosh.
I mean it is definitely really humid. But I mean it's just like up north as well. Like there's a cycle part of the year that is great, and then there's a little stint that's kind of like for here the is like late June, July, August, September are pretty because it's so hot.
Oh
Like
yeah.
if you're not at the beach, you just don't want to be outside. But
Really?
then, you got like December in Florida. Let me tell you, I've only experienced December in Florida besides living here this year one other time. It
Hmm.
is amazing. you can wear like any style of clothing you want because like it's, at night it drops down to like low 60s, but like during the day it's like 75. It's literally perfect. It's like it's sensational. But I mean, obviously, when the humidity is above 95, or I should say the temperature, and then add the humidity and above 95, like this weekend is going to be a little bit cooler because it's supposed to rain because I think there's a tropical storm coming. But like last weekend, it was like 97.
Do you have to have like hurricane windows or something? Hurricane blinds?
Not where I'm at because I'm in a massive high rise, but I'm sure you would definitely need them where I'm at because I'm only like 4 miles from actual water.
Yeah.
But also we're on the western side of like the coast. So like there's not as many hurricanes that hit very severely on this side. Miami gets torched because they're right.
Isn't it flooding right now?
Yeah, but it floods there like all the time.
Man.
Like I was reading about it and it's like kind of like a basin, like I don't know how you'd actually like kind of describe it the best way, but like it's like lower in regards to like elevation. So
Right.
like that's why they're like, oh, it's gonna be underwater in like a certain amount of years. Like that's actually true. It will be underwater at
That's
one point.
insane.
I don't know, right? I don't know when this is gonna happen. Again, guys, not an expert here, but like it will be underwater probably in the next like.
Isn't that kind of how California is? Like it's like on a cliff or something. Like
I
I
think
don't
it's
know.
on
I was talking to Rob about that. Something about
like one of those.
I don't know if it's Santa Monica or something that
Yeah,
the
it's on like one of those like
tectonic
tectonic
plate.
plates.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if it shifts, like California just fall off. I remember we would always joke about that, like back in like high school, like, oh, the entire state's just gonna fall off. Wouldn't
That's
that be a concept?
nuts.
Be a concept, like, oh, the
Yeah.
whole state's gone.
Yeah, we have clients out there and they're saying like there was just a huge earthquake that happened like the day or the morning of one of our Zoom calls. And I was like, what an insane thing I've never experienced is like an earthquake. Like everything just started shaking.
I was just gonna ask, have you ever like experienced an earthquake? No, I haven't either. What a concept though to actually think about that, like that's how like powerful like the earth is, like
Yeah.
just like with a hurricane, like experiencing a hurricane in like real deal last year, I was like, whoa. And I had a whole dumb story with that, but like that's like a whoa. But like imagine just the earth shaking. You're like, oh, this is normal. Like I live on like the tectonic plates. This is normal for me. But like the earth,
We're so fragile.
yeah, just
Like it's
casually shaking.
crazy how we stress out. Our Zoom meeting ends in 10 minutes or whatever. All right, we'll go 10 more. But yeah, like I was thinking about that because the other day I was opening a box and got a horrible paper cut. Where is it? Well, it's not that bad now, but like bleeding, gushing blood with my finger. And I was like, it's ridiculous how like man can accomplish all these crazy things and build anything, get people in space, blah, 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 blah. And yet little things like this just like fuck you up, or the earth shaking. Like we're so fragile. Mother Nature could wipe us out, really, like that.
Yeah, just completely subject to the climate that you live in. And
Right.
it's like, you just gotta adapt to it. Like for instance, like last year, I was going to get a new dresser, and I never would look at the weather. I just kind of like, oh, it's nice today, great. Like I don't know, I just never something I really look at too much.
Mm-hmm.
My mom messages me and goes, a really bad hurricane's about like gonna hit landfall soon. I go, oh, that's why it's like really bad out. So
Yeah.
there's this 14-mile bridge to go from like Tampa to St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
I'm on the middle of the bridge as this thing's hitting like landfall. I'm not kidding you. Like there's a distinct difference when a hurricane like actually hits landfall. Things get wild, bro. Like
Really?
the wind and rain is crazy. I couldn't see like 10 feet in front of me, and I'm in the middle of the water on a bridge. And
That's
I'm like,
terrifying.
dude, I was like, that was one of the few times in my life ever driving where I was like, looked up a few times. I'm like, hey, whoever's up there, man, help me out.
Yeah, get me home.
Yeah, I'm like, I drive a tiny Jetta. It's white. So like how like hard the rain was coming down, it was completely white out. It looked like it was like snowing to a degree.
Yeah,
Like
you couldn't even see your car, I bet.
yeah. And so I'm like, I can't pull over. Someone's gonna hit me. Then I'm gonna fall into the hurricane water and I'm dead. So I'm like, I gotta
That's
keep walking
fucked.
with this bridge.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah. So think about when you go, oh, we're just fragile. Yeah, no. Like that was like a realization where I go, yeah, I need to check the weather more often because
Yeah.
I was so scared. The drive went from being like a 22-minute drive to like an hour and a half. Because
Really
like
on the bridge too.
on the bridge,
That's
just like
so
straight on the
stressful.
bridge. Oh yeah, like you know you got the hands at 10 and 2, just like
Mhm.
like jaw clenched. I like
Yeah.
got off the highway and I had a pounding headache just from clenching my jaw the whole time. But yeah, it's that was a piece of work of an afternoon. But I think this hurricane's not going to be as bad. So
Yeah.
you
That's
know,
nuts, dude. Like the tornado sirens went off here the other day, and it's like
really,
they sound like nuclear bomb sirens. They're terrifying.
yeah.
Like if you didn't know what they were, you'd be like, "What is happening?" And they're so loud, and the clouds are black as hell rolling in, and it's
Yeah,
terrifying. It's like a war zone.
I forgot. There was some tornado. I think it was like a month or so back, and it was like a real bad one. And I was watching some videos of it, and I'm like, again, what just like a concept it is that like Mother Nature is like that. That like that shit landed, and it was like a mile wide. Like what? Like what did it? That doesn't make sense. I don't study. You know, I'm not a meteorologist, but that
No,
does not make sense. That like you got the cold front, warm front hitting each other, and it causes like a swirl. Well, what is how? Explain.
no doubt, bro. It's like it's kind of beautiful. You're like, it is weird how science does stuff like that too,
In like a
It throws
very
things.
scary, beautiful way. I could see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Like
like,
it's
oh,
terrifying for us, but like, I don't know. It's something that's like absurdly, like, how's that real?
yeah. And then you got the storm chasers that will like follow them. What? Excuse me, sir.
No
You're just following that tornado. Good,
Yeah.
but I mean, I guess it would be really, really cool to see one. Like, if I was with them and I'm like, they know how to keep me at a safe distance, I would totally want to see one up close.
I
And
know. I
just,
wouldn't mind it,
oh,
but it's
yeah,
like,
I'm not navigating that myself because, like, what if
right.
that thing changes direction coming right at me and I'm like, oh, I'm dead. Right. Yeah, bad call on my part. But these guys, they're pros. I'll let them be pros. I'll just sit in the back seat and be like, whoa, that's
Or
actually what it
more
looks
so
like.
those
It's
guys
crazy.
flying the jets in the eye of the hurricanes. Those are
That's
nuts.
that's that doesn't make sense. Again, you know, I wouldn't do that myself, but if I had the opportunity to be with a professional to take me there, yeah, that'd be cool.
Would you do the hurricane or tornado?
Both. Why
Yeah.
not? You know,
See, I think hurricane would be way more scary.
I think it'd just be really cool to like imagine like in like the actual like eye of the storm to see like the wall of clouds.
That's
Cool.
insane, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if that's like if they 100% do look like that. It looks like that on like the charts, but I don't know if it's like in the movies where there's like just a massive like circle. If there is, like that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if that's true. So I'm gonna go with yeah, it is, and I would love to see that. That'd be really
Yeah.
be a concept.
All right. We have 4 minutes left. One more question. You
Fire.
recommended the book. What is it? It's like Worry Less and Start Living. Isn't it that what it's called? Or
How to
Stop Worrying and Start Living.
worry and start living
Yeah.
by
So
Carnegie, maybe.
yeah. And I was thinking how you're such a happy guy, confident guy. Where's this come from? What drives you to get out of bed in the morning? What is it that what's your why?
I'd say my why changed when I like got hurt and almost died.
That's
That's
what I thought.
that's a big one.
Explain that in 20 seconds what happened.
So I was in a lacrosse game. It was a scrimmage, which is the terrible part, and just led with my head down. Broke my C7. Was like a couple centimeters away from completely severing my neck from my spine, which would have been either permanently paralyzed from the neck down
Yeah.
or one of the two. But I think what that kind of led to in the how to stop worrying and start living is, did I go into that game worrying that I was going to break my neck? No, obviously no. You don't think about things like that. You don't think about like the potential outcomes. You just live, right? But like when I got hurt in everything that I identified myself as the lifter, the runner, the college lacrosse athlete, all that got stripped away. And I sat down and I said, am I happy with who I am? And I was like, no, not at all.
Wow.
Like I never really thought about it because you don't have to. And so many people don't because they have so many layers to who they are that they don't think about, is this person happy? And so my why of I always say it on my story, get better every day in every way. What I mean by that, that is my why, is it's like you get a very small, finite opportunity to improve, not only improve, just to live, because it is a small, finite opportunity. And when you almost die, it changes your perspective on everything because it's like, I'm going to value that friendship more. I'm going to check in with my friends because, maybe I go or they go. I don't know. You don't know that. Or like, on the ladder of, I don't want to go work out today. No, I get to go work out today because if I was in a chair right now, that'd be the only thing I'd want to do. And like, or like with like lacrosse, like I'd die to be able to just go back out on the field again. Literally, I almost did. But like that perspective shift is my why. Is it's like so much stuff was almost gone, and realizing how fragile everything is that's in your life really makes everything in life a little bit more beautiful. And it's like, so now I don't dread waking up. I don't dread going to the gym. I don't dread running. Like I look forward to it. You get the opportunity to do it. I'm blessed to be able to do it because there's people that can't.
Right.
And like when you look at life from that perspective, something bad that happens, it's not that bad anymore. It's like, okay, sure, today was a bad day, but there's always tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a little better. And I really try to live like that every day. That's why I try to keep that positive mentality, because there's people that don't have as fortunate of a life as I do. So,
Yeah, dude. Well, it's a great way to end this podcast, man. Thanks for joining, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, I got to figure out what to call this, but well, I'll get to that. I'll brainstorm it. But
run down with Ron.
Yeah, it might be run down with Ron. Not bad, Eric. Well,
you'll run down.
All right, dude. Have a nice rest of your day, man.
Yeah, likewise. Can't wait to see you again, brother.
Yeah, I'll see you soon. All right.
See you, dude.
See ya.